Hello, and welcome back to the very popular segment here on The Captivating Christian, The History Of, where we talk about the behind the scenes of very popular Christian entertainment. However, today we're going to be talking about a film that almost didn't get made because the Christian community found it sacrilegious. The film in question being Monty Python's Life of Brian. So Monty Python was some British sketch comedy show from the 60s, one that I have never seen, but I assume that people have seen it, and like to quote memorable lines from it from time to time. None of which that I would recognize, because according to groups like the Festival of Lights, you cannot be a religious person and enjoy a show called Monty Python's Flying Circus. I always say this, but doing research for videos is overrated. Just go with your feelings and then accuse others of doing that when they disagree with you. Besides the point, I do know about their 70s comedy, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, mainly because that sense of humor inspired shows that I have seen like VeggieTales.
Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
After we defeat you, you will be our slaves and you will have to fetch us our sleep bears.
I know earlier I said that no religious people could ever possibly like Monty Python, but, just pretend I didn't point that contradiction out. Holy Grail was apparently a very big success at the box office and with audiences and critics. The crew were doing a tour to promote the film, and they were frequently asked the question by paparazzi about doing another, as they would sarcastically give the answer for a fake movie title, Jesus Christ, Lust for Glory, a playoff of the equally sacrilegious Jesus Christ Superstar. The men decided to pursue this script, but ultimately decided that Jesus Christ, in their own words, wasn't funny, as they found his teachings were actually very well-intentioned and meaningful. Huh. For a bunch of atheists, that's quite noble of them. So instead, they decided to create a new character named Brian, with comedic set pieces like trying to book a table for the Last Supper, and that Brian would be the 13th apostle who history forgot because of his own incompetence. But all that was soon dropped. The writing began in late 1976 and was finished around 1978. The film had a lot of trouble getting funding, rightfully so, because of companies like EMI saying that the script was potentially offensive. The film, however, did get funded by a longtime fan of Monty Snake's work, as well as a former member of the Beatles, George Harrison.
What we did was we pawned my house and the office in London and to get a bank loan. And that was a bit nerve-wracking.
More reason to hate rock and roll. Not only is it the devil's music, but it gets offensive films like this made. Shooting for the film began and wrapped throughout 1978 in Tunisia, a location that is often used for religious films at the time, due to its ancient-looking architecture and Middle Eastern extras. Once the film was finished, a 2-hour rough cut was tested with audiences. What happened next were various forms of outrage and protest, with most taking offense with its subject matter, specifically its satire on religion and its followers, and their take on what they described as the blindly faithful. The most controversial scene in the film being the ending, where Brian is crucified, and what turns into a song number with a tune called Always Look on the Bright Side of Life.
Always look on the bright side of life. Come on. Always look on the right side of life.
This led to various religious groups trying to picket and protest the film, some demanding that it would be banned or pulled from theaters, one of which being the British organization, the Festival of Light, who tried pulling as many strings as they possibly could to have the film pulled on the grounds of it being blasphemous and offensive to Judeo-Christian values. Before the film was properly released and these claims had come out, the Monty Python team asked a free speech lawyer to see if there was anything that needed to be cut out, with a few things scrapped. The film was first released in the US, specifically for its free speech laws. However, the film was still met with protests in New York, including the New York Association of Rabbis, Reverend Roger Filton, and various southern states demanding that the film not be shown in theaters in the area. And despite all of this, people still went to go see it, even resulting in the movie's box office numbers going up. Wait a minute, so you're telling me that telling people to not go see a movie actually drums up publicity and makes people want to go see it? What is this, Bizarro World? The crew often defended the film, saying that it wasn't blasphemy because of the following reasons. The movie wasn't about God or Jesus or his teachings, but rather about the followers and misinterpretation, and that Brian wasn't supposed to be a stand-in for Jesus, since Jesus was actually shown as a separate person in the film, and played completely serious. Once the film started getting released in the UK, Joan Cleese and Michael Palin then went on a talk show to debate the film with a bishop, Mervyn Stockwood, and a comedian, born-again Christian, Malcolm Muggeridge.
All you've done is to make a lot of people on a cross singing a music hall song. I mean, it's so disgusting when you think of it.
A lot of people go away very happy, laughing at that, their faith not touched one jot.
I don't think
really do.
I don't think it will.
As the film was slowly getting released in Europe, various groups, once again the Festival of Light and its leader Mary Whitehouse being the figureheads, set out to have the film pulled from theaters. By protesting, writing pamphlets about specific scenes, and writing into local politicians and movie theaters, demanding that it not be shown.
Why have you banned The Life of Brian?
Because from what we've heard about it, we think that it's going to be an extremely offensive film on religious grounds.
Now, you've not actually seen the film, have you?
No, we haven't.
What reports have you had of it? Where have those reports come from?
The reports have come from the Festival of Light, and they have told us of the attitude of the American Catholic Church and the American Jewish Church.
What do you know about the Festival of Light yourself?
Nothing.
Areas that heavily condemned the film include Liverpool, Norway, which was actually used in the film's marketing campaign when they tried showing it in Sweden, Wales, Devon, parts of Germany, and Bournemouth. But it seems that over the years, several Christians have come forward and said that they actually liked the movie and thought it brought up some interesting points. I know what you're probably thinking. But Chris, doesn't this sound a lot like cancel culture, which you claim to detest when people on the left try doing it? And the answer is yes, in a lot of ways it kind of is the same thing, except it's only okay when people like me on the Christian right try to do it. I swear, sometimes it feels like the left has been playing a serious game of catch-up to try and get to our levels of self-righteous boycotting.
You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife.
But with all that said and done, you're probably wondering what I thought of the film. What? What? No. I only didn't like the movie because Jesus was only featured in one scene. He should have been in the movie more.